it seems that every time we conquer one variable in the process of building espresso brewing equipment, we turn up more and realize we have more challenges.
Got it.
For years and years and years, we focused on temperature stability, and ourselves and other manufacturers as well have taken that about as far as we can go.
Okay.
We're working currently with a few other variables such as pressure profiling. But in the process of all this, we realized that we were overlooking a very simple and basic part of the process, which is the filter basket.
Okay.
And what we found after some exploring was that there were major inconsistencies in terms of the holes. The baskets are stainless steel cups, basically filters, with and in the manufacturing process there are supposed to be very deliberate and precise number and size of holes.
Okay.
Most manufacturers have their own proprietary spec for baskets, and we all tend to work with the same manufacturers. And what we discovered is that when we really looked closely from basket to basket, there were inconsistencies, and how that might manifest itself would be a barista, somebody that's working to brew coffee, might be dialing in the perfect grind, perfect tamp, perfect extraction, and then when they switch from one portafilter to another, everything wouldn't work.
Got it. Okay.
So
it would be like too fast or too slow or something like that.
It would just show up in terms of an inconsistent pour.
Okay.
And so in taking this challenge on, we contracted with a gentleman named Vince Fideli, who has a company called VST out of, I believe he's from Massachusetts.
Okay.
And he helped us develop some scanning technology, first of all, an optical scanner. Nanotechnology. Yeah.
Nanotechnology.
So on a nanotechnology
Okay.
level, we've been able to accurately measure the number of holes, the size of the holes, and how consistent they are.
Okay.
So that was just one part of the process. So that helped us understand how inconsistent ours and virtually all other manufacturers' baskets were. So then the second step was to find a manufacturer that would take us seriously and manufacture baskets to our spec and get them as consistent as possible. And then once we received them from the manufacturer, we literally scanned each and every basket to make sure it passes on a nano level.
Nano level.
Plus or minus 28 nanometers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So plus or minus 20 nanometers.
Got it.
We can guarantee that so essentially what we're able to do now is guarantee that each basket that we sell, this new style basket, meets our spec and will be very consistent from one basket to another.
So when you had them manufactured before, was it just that you said that all the manufacturers have proprietary designs that they give to the specific basket manufacturers, but were they just not to that level of precision?
They weren't, that's a good way to put it. They
Okay.
just weren't to that level of precision. They would be, what we're looking for is what we call free passage. That's the amount of hole space available for the extraction to come through. And
Okay.
hopefully it filters most of the coffee grounds out. And what we found was the holes would be irregular in size. Some of them would be non-existent. They were clogged completely.
Okay.
And the placement of the holes on the basket might not be centered as well. So
So they would be a
are-
little over to the side, or okay.
Yeah, so we're measuring the baskets to a number of different parameters. A lot of them are proprietary. We don't disclose exactly what
Only the
ones.
nanobots now.
Yeah. But we're measuring the baskets on a pass-fail basis.
Okay.
So if we find one that doesn't meet our spec, we just reject it. Once the scanning is done, then we imprint the basket with what's called a 2D mark. And then that 2D mark is directly related to the report that is generated for that specific basket.
Okay.
So if somebody really wanted to know what the test results were on that particular basket, we could literally look it up on our server in Italy and print out a report. And down the road, what's going to be exciting for us is there's always been not a very accurate way to measure the lifespan of a basket. There's some natural erosion that happens during the process. The holes kind of change size over use. So with this scanning technology, we're going to be able to test baskets that have been out in the field and determine really what the usable life of the basket is for
Got
the
it.
first time.
Okay.
The other thing that baskets are 50%, is it 50%, Jack? Heavier metal, or more heavier gauge of stainless. Yeah, so essentially we'll get a lot longer life out of these baskets as well
Okay.
because of the heavier gauge of metal.
So what have you practically noticed between the testing of these two different style of baskets, the older style and the new style?
Well, we've sent a number of them out into the field. What we found was that exactly what we were looking for is that they were having to make fewer grind adjustments, and more importantly, very accurate or very consistent results from basket to basket.
Okay.
Portafilter to portafilter.
Got it.
So it really worked. There's an article in the latest Barista magazine that was
cool.
written by Vince Fideli himself.
Okay.
So this is an example of a histogram that would show, this would show a very wide range. This would be a basket that would be from the previous manufacturer, probably one of our competitors. I'm not sure exactly
Okay.
which basket. And you can see the wide range of hole size. You can see even the magnification shows the difference in hole sizes.
Oh yeah.
And this is one of the new baskets. It's a very narrow range of hole size, and very consistent, very consistent holes.
Yeah. As far as their layout and even their diameter.
Their diameter, their layout, and their placement on the basket itself. We have an exclusivity on the scanning technology. So right now, we're the only ones in the industry doing this.
Okay.
It really has a tangible effect on the standardization and quality of your brewed espresso.
Okay.
We're not saying that it makes a coffee taste better, just like a pressure profiling. It does improve the consistency.
Okay.
And if you get all other variables right, well, if it tastes better, then it does. You get a more even extraction. You minimize over and under extraction.
I see.
So in a typical basket, sometimes, especially, I don't know, for me, for my taste buds, I'm sensitive to bitterness.
Okay.
When you taste a shot, sometimes, just like, man, there's that sharp taint or a bitterness, and I know it shouldn't be there. And it's not necessarily attributed to the roast or the brew, or it could be temperature too. But up to this point, before this basket, you try to manipulate or change the temperature. You do it pre-infusion, or even go as far as pressure profiling. But the bottleneck has been the basket. So now you standardize the basket. You minimize the fines that pass through the holes. You standardize the total area of which the coffee extracted espresso can pass through, and its rate and its quality. So you just get a better shot.
I like this because, and a lot of the other things that you guys have worked on, because it seems to me like the coffee is volatile, right? It's always changing, variable. So it's cool to be able to kind of say all of our tools are standardized so that we can play around more, I guess, like you were saying, with the variables, and know that it's not my basket, it's me, or it's my coffee, not my basket. Yeah.
Sure, because basket, I mean, it's the bottleneck. It's what holds the coffee. It's like the tires on a car, or like in a pour over, it's is it Ario, Kalita, and also the paper filter in there. I mean, you have different qualities, you have different shapes.
Yeah.
That all affects what you get in the cup.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Cool.
It's all the taste that matters.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jack.
Welcome.